for a more formal Israeli consul general in New York and chairman of the America-Israel Friendship League, Ambassador Ido Aharoni. Ambassador, good to see you, and thank you for making time for us. Earlier this morning, it was reported Iran has drawn up a new list of targets inside Israel in the event of any Israeli attacks. The quote saying the new targets would be of the kind that could not be repaired or rebuilt for years. Israel has not been engaged in major combat operations against Iran like the U.S. has in recent weeks. Do you expect that that will change soon?
I don't. In fact, I think Israel will certainly, when we are so close to national elections, October 27th, I don't think Israel will do anything without getting the green light from President Trump and his administration. It's highly unlikely that Israel will act alone without coordination with the Americans at this point.
Trump said this week that he is considering that massive attack on Iran, and Prime Minister Netanyahu is planning to fly to Washington. He is expected to meet the president this week at the White House. Netanyahu, it seems, was right that stopping the opening campaign for the ceasefire would leave a number of military targets on the table. What role, if you do not believe that until after the elections Israel will re-engage, what role should Israel play to try during this time to bring this conflict to a close?
I think Israel could play a role before the elections. All I'm saying is that it will have to be dependent upon the consent of the U.S. administration. So if the United States will re-engage Iran and would require Israel to serve as a subcontractor, as Israel did in the past, I think then that will happen. I think that this is certainly something that is in the cards. Regarding your opening statement about Iran's targeting, major facilities in Israel, this has always been the Iranian plan. We know that, but we also have our own plan. And as the Iranians painfully learned, we're pretty accurate.
Even though tensions are high, Ambassador, the President announced a new potential nuclear deal with Saudi Arabia, but it was conditional on the country joining the Abraham Accords. Your reaction to that announcement, which seemed to stun people this week, but the President continuing to push for additional recognition for Israel?
I think it's a wonderful thing that the President is stressing the need to link any kind of progress in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to the Abraham Accords. I think that the importance of this deal for Saudi Arabia could not be underestimated. It first gives them leverage vis-a-vis Iran. It gives them leverage vis-a-vis China. It actually pushes Saudi Arabia into the arms of the pro-American axis. And most importantly for Saudi Arabia, it gives them an advantage in the so-called competition with Egypt, who is the leader of the Arab world. The danger, the only downside that I can see here is that this could trigger a regional nuclear arms race. And I'm sure that President Trump and his administration are fully aware of the dangers of engaging in breaking that nuclear balance, the very delicate nuclear balance in the Middle East.
It was revealed this week, Ambassador, that Kuwait and Bahrain have directly retaliated against Iran. Talk to us about the significance of this and how it shows the conflict sort of realigning those power structures in the Middle East.
Correct. And although the main goal of the Epic Fury operation was not achieved yet, which was to bring down the regime, many tactical goals, significant, were achieved, among them the rehabilitation of deterrence against Iran. What happened with the Iranians? They made a terrible mistake, miscalculating President Trump, miscalculating the Israel Defense Forces and the Israeli Air Force. And as a result, what happened is that other Arab countries in the Gulf area, you mentioned two of them, but Saudi Arabia is certainly a third, feel emboldened and feel that they can actually attack Iran. And Iran is not so mighty militarily as we tended to think.
Yeah, it's a very, very significant development in the realignment of the power of the Middle East. And it's going to be ongoing. Ambassador Ido Aharoni, thank you so much, sir. We appreciate your insights this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.